Today as I walked past the library, I saw a homeless man. He hid his face with his scarf and hood, giving him a rather creepy appearance. He held no sign asking for assistance, nor did he speak a word. I offered the homeless man all the change in my pocket, but he showed no sign of interest. I left it on the ground in front of him, in case he changed his mind. As I walked away from the library and the man, I felt as though I was being watched. But no, that couldn't be. The only people on the street were me and the man. The rain had made sure of that. I walked home a little faster than I would openly admit. When I reached my basement apartment, I immediately locked the deadbolt. You can never be too careful. I tried to assure myself I was behaving normally. I poured myself a glass of Sprite and sat in front of the TV. I turned on the news to find out the latest Ravenport occurrences. The TV was interrupted by a soft knock on the door. I reached for the doorknob, my blood cold as ice and hair standing straight up on my arms. Upon opening the door, there was no one there, and only an eerie cold uncommon for early September nights. I shut the door and turned to my place on the couch. Stupid kids. Isn't it past curfew? It's nearly 10 o'clock. The light flickers and the TV dims. My nerves are getting the best of me. If only Mother could see me now being such a coward over nothing. There was a scratch at the door. I could hear the wind and rain picking up as well. "Get away from my door!" I screamed. The power blacked out. When it came back, the only light in the room came from the TV, which was a small wall of static. I looked at the door and couldn't believe my eyes. The deadbolt wasn't locked. Just then, I hear rustling in my bedroom. No, I have things in there, personal things, that no one can see. I rushed to my room and opened the door to find the homeless man standing before me. He was holding my scrapbook. "No! What are you doing with that?" He turned his face, still concealed with his scarf and hood. He lifted the book to eye level and faced me. No, the pictures I had taken of the dead children, how did you know?" I screamed at the homeless man. I had to do it. They had no parents, and that orphanage was a joke. "Can't you see?" I smiled broad and widely. I did them a favor. But now, since you've seen, I'll have to cut you up, just like the children. The homeless man stepped forward, dropping the book to the floor, his hood and scarf coming off on their own. "What are you doing?" He looked me in the eyes, but I saw nothing in his. Wait, he has no eyes. His mouth stretched to inhuman proportions, and he advanced on me, screaming insanely. The door slams behind me, and I'm trapped. He's standing nose to nose with me now. He smirks, and the edges of his lips crack. Then I felt his hand at my throat. The next day, Ravenport police responded to a call about a break-in. Upon arriving, they entered the apartment only to find Nolan Drew, the wanted child murderer, sitting in the middle of the room. He was bleeding from his eyes and from where his hands used to be. He was whispering to himself, something that sounded a lot like Seeker.